Who? What? Where am I? What is this?
Behold, comedy. Lay your eyes on what this lumbering beast has brought upon himself.
Excuse me?
Yes, Tragedy. He's an asshole, and now he'll pay.
Hey now, that's not very...
Lend me your ears, thou furriest of the forest creatures. In exactly 8 minutes, you will need to choose between the silver mask of suffering and torment, or the golden mask of... it's okay.
Who are you people?
But be careful. If you choose one, you will lose the other forever.
I'm not choosing anything. I'm calling the police.
Thine wits are as sharp as thine limp tallywhacker. We will be back in 8 minutes to bear witness to thine choice.
How about be back? Never. Can you do that?
Nah, boy. We will return. Until then, take this no-calorie soda.
Katana ZERO? Whoa! What the hell was that? Why hello there guys, it's BigBearBoi, here to take a bit of a dive into Katana ZERO. So, what is this game? Katana ZERO is a neo-noir action platformer with an emphasis on rapid gameplay, well-coordinated movement, and everyone's favorite, one-hit deaths. You control a nameless samurai, spoilers, in a city seemingly torn apart by inequities. You get to live in a run-down, dirty motel room in the 3rd district with some very noisy neighbors. Throughout the game, a gritty, dystopian vibe carries through, with some awesome 80s neon lighting giving false glimpses of brightness and warmth in the otherwise still cold and grim world. Your situation looks glum, but there's hope. Thankfully, a psychiatrist is there to help you get through these dark times. Now, I'm not sure how therapy works, but I think this dude might be overstepping his boundaries by a small margin. At least he's reliable and gives you a nice amount of drugs and a dossier about your next assassination target, like any good therapist would. So yeah, that's what you do in this game. You receive a target who you have to hunt down and kill. Unfortunately, they are always guarded by thugs and ruffians, and fine gentlemen like Strong Terry. Almost each stage begins with you entering the scene like,
oh boy, here I go killing again.
And what a joy it is. I'm uncertain how some games get it right, but it just feels so good. You can feel the impact of your sword swings while your enemies are being decapitated, their chests bursting open and their guts splattered all over the walls. You murder strong people, skinny people, shooty people, swatty people, Silent Hill people,
children, animals, old people,
burglars and fucking cats. Ha, gotcha. Cats are adorable. The game also has that feel-good fast pace to it, which is kind of enforced by a timer for each stage, but I don't believe it ever ran out on me, as I always managed to end the stage before that could have ever happened. Now death doesn't feel cheap at all. As with other games mentioned on this channel, like Dead Cells, every death feels like it was your mistake, and not some RNGesus deciding, it's your time to go now. So the layout is pretty nice, but is the gameplay any good? You bet. Besides jumping, swinging your sword, and throwing random objects, you also have a small meter up on top. This meter will let you
slow down time
in order to overcome more difficult situations, or to get a better chance at deflecting bullets back at your enemies, or to emphasize how much you suck. The time slowing mechanic may seem a little gimmicky at this point after so many games using it, but Katana ZERO manages to cleverly build the game's story around it, which is a pretty good one at that. We'll discuss that briefly later. Oh, and you can dodge roll too. This grants you invincibility during the animation, but it's also useful for speedruns, granted you don't mind looking a bit retarded. Throughout the game, what you will mostly do is hack and slash and die and die and die and die. But if you practice enough, eventually you will learn from your mistakes, And while your initial tries went something like this, you'll own your skills, get focused, and will masterfully execute maneuvers like this.
He did?
Besides the main slicing and dicing parts, there are also a few different stages where you ride a motorbike fighting a helicopter. Yes, that happens. Or you need to sneak around the local club and blend in. The action scenes are always preceded and followed by some cutscenes. I hope you can see my air quotes, as these cutscenes are interactive. Which makes no sense, as by definition, cutscenes are non-interactive, but hey, at most 300 people will watch this, so I don't care. What I mean by cutscenes is that when there are dialogue options, not only do you get to choose, but you actually have a timer to do so. You can even interrupt whoever is talking to you, which is something I always wanted to do in a video game. I don't think the dialogue options do too much, by the way, but these conversations are the main way to learn about the world around you and about what is happening with you. But still, if you don't have any questions why a bathrobe wearing dude who can shift time is running around with a sword murdering people, cause that's okay with you, you can just keep being a giant douche. And I gotta say, I love how the style of the text is just all over the place. It really adds to the tone and looks of the game and gives the characters more personality. And while we're on the subject of style, yeah, let's talk about the graphics a bit. As you have probably noticed, it's once again our good friend 2D side-scrolling with some 16-bit goodness sprinkled on top. This stylistic choice, unfortunately, doesn't really let you make out the expressions on the faces of the characters. I mean, what is this? Also, the blood and gore that is consistent through the game can be given a pass if it's over-exaggerated to a point of ridiculousness and is just a pile of crude pixels anyway. Unless you're Australian, then you ban this shit cause drugs and violence. Just for perspective, this is fine.
Fatality.
But this is just too much. This will make the kids too violent. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the similarities between this game and Hotline Miami.
Boobies.
Both feature a maniac killer as the protagonist, both incorporate one-hit death and reflex-based gameplay, and for the aesthetics, both use an 80s setup with some stunning bright neon colors and kick-ass synthwave music. Much like the aforementioned Hotline Miami and its sequel, the music really stands out. It ranges from relaxing lounge music through some foreboding piano melodies and vibrant electric club beats to its main theme, my dudes and dudettes, which is some bodaciously rad synthwave. Barf me out, you airheaded hosers. That's 80s talk. And I'm not even kidding. Since I first played the game, I listened to the soundtrack at least 20 times, and if you listen closely, that is what is playing in the background of this video as well. And what is especially fantabulous is that some of the tracks are integrated into the game thematically. Each level begins with you pulling out your Walkman, I assume, putting on some adrenaline pumping tunes. You know, in case the gushing blood of your enemies wouldn't be stimulating enough. I do have one complaint about this though. Unfortunately, you cannot choose tracks, so you cannot listen to some Sam Uriah Heep. Ah yes, thank you so much. The music underlines the story nicely and manages to even pull off some touching moments, which is quite the feat given the brutality of the surrounding world. And the story itself? Again, I would need to draw comparisons with Hotline Miami. On the surface, you could just view it as a psychopathic murderer running around killing people. But if you dig deeper, it still is that. But there's also a lot to uncover. I'm not going to give away the plot, but if you enjoy war crimes, conspiracies, drug abuse, insanity, assassination, and Russians saying rude things, you will probably get a kick out of the incomplete story. The game also has a decent sense of humor with some pretty nice references. Better than some of I use anyway. And it actually made me laugh genuinely a few times, like for instance, when you finally get to use a gun. The game is loaded with Easter eggs as well, if you examine the scenery for a bit, or you are willing to experiment with some of the dialogue options. And speaking of options, in addition of it having a cool lo-fi edit, you can even find some fun stuff there. Why is this a thing? So, is Katana ZERO worth picking up?
Hey, baby!
I would definitely say so. The pace of the action feels right, the graphics, while not top-notch in the pixel art category, are still very good. The dialogues are decently written, and the story is deeper than expected, but unfortunately, it is unfinished. Without giving away anything, the game ends on kind of a cliffhanger, and the puzzle seems incomplete. We are also introduced to a lot of characters who seemingly had little to do with the plot. You can also breeze through the whole game in about
4 hours!
Which is another shortcoming of the game, that it is a tad short. Get it? Shortcoming? Short? It's funny because it's not. Anyway, in my opinion, a DLC would be a welcomed addition to... Oh wait. It seems that Askiisoft has joined the club of hyper adorable good guy developers who for some reason hand out DLCs for free. That's awfully nice of them. So get back to fucking work, Justin! I do hope that the things I mentioned here will get ironed out in the DLC, so the story can have a fulfilling end, as playing the game sure feels like a blast. Oh, my head. You guys again.
How was your drink, you smelly oaf?
This thing? Pretty good, I guess. But like all tasty beverages, it leaves you wanting for more.
It warms my gloomy heart that thou hast found some joy before your endmost decision.
Decision?
Yes, the silver mask of suffering and torment, or the golden mask of meh. It's okay, but be careful once you've...
Alright, will you finally go away if I choose?
Thine choice must come from your desire to...
Yeah, shut up. Give me the golden one and go away.
Are you sure you cannot undo what you...
Golden mask of it's okay, please.
As you wish.
As you wish.
Oh, it's over finally. Alright now, let's watch some good shit. There we go.
I'm Ashley with Watch Mojo, and these are the top 20
What the hell is
R-rated
this?
anime.
Oh my god. No. No! I should have chosen suffering and torment.